everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Today we're out here in the new sprout house. We've got some things that we've updated, some new things to show you, and we just have some work to do in here today with you guys.
About a week or so ago, we showed you guys that we were converting this building that we have on our property that originally was intended to be kind of a guest cabin into a place for us to start all of our seeds for our gardens and for the farmers market this year. And we didn't know what to call it, so we did a poll online. We had you guys suggest names and then we had you vote, and we were amazed at how many people voted in our poll.
12,000 people voted on which name would be best for this building, and overall 56% of you voted that the Sprout House is the best option for us. We love it.
Yeah, we think it's a really good name. It's an easy name to say. Hey, I'm gonna go out to the Sprout House and get some work done. It seems like it's just a perfect fit. So we had this awesome sign made so that every time we come out here, we're reminded of you guys and reminded of all of our awesome followers who like to take part in the things we do around the homestead.
Today we want to start this video off by showing you some of the improvements or the updates that we've done since the last time you guys were in here with us. Off camera, we've been doing quite a bit of work.
And we've already started some seeds, so we have some watering to do today. We want to show you what we're starting, and then we actually have our very first seeds of the farmers market to start today, so we're going to get those started as well. Well, we're still really amazed at how well the little heater that we put in here is doing. It's a 10,000 BTU propane heater, and it is just doing a fantastic job. But after the last video, we did do one thing to help it along even a little bit more. We already had the walls in here well insulated. When Sarah and I originally bought this cabin, it was just one of those portable buildings, which is just kind of a frame. So we insulated the walls and we put up plywood walls, but we never insulated the ceiling. We didn't really think we were going to need it because it was mostly going to be for summertime guests. But now that we're trying to heat this in the winter, we realized quickly that we were losing a lot of heat through the ceiling. So this past week, we actually cut an access hole back up into the attic. You can see that above this workbench here. And then we actually rented a blower. We blew insulation all up into the attic here, just like you would have in your house. And holy cow, it has made a huge difference. Since that time, the heater barely ever clicks on. And just on the lowest setting, it's keeping it almost at a constant 60 degrees in here, which is perfect for our seedlings.
Another change is that we bought and started hanging these black curtains up in front of these the seed trays and the shelves, because we have found that these red and blue lights are really stressful and really strain our eyes. So when we're in here working, we just put these up to protect our eyes. We have them on both of our shelves. But at the end of the day, when we're done working in here, we actually take these down. We brought in a fan that oscillates over all of these shelves so that the seedlings, it'll move them back and forth and will make them nice and strong. So those are two other things that we've done recently. I'm just going to take these down just for a little bit so I can show you what we've been doing in here, how this all works. I'm going to turn these lights off just for a little bit. The seeds that we have started are the seeds that you start the earliest for spring planting. Also, we're starting some of our brassicas, some of the early spring plants that we'll be putting in our greenhouse. So we need to check on all of these, see if they need to be watered, and we can tell you everything that we have started. There are a couple of flowers that take a really long time to grow, and so oftentimes that is one of the first things that I start. These are petunia seeds. They've actually only been planted for 2 days, so I don't expect there to be any growth yet, but they should be up pretty soon. This entire flat, I have petunias because I plan to have a lot of them this year. For seedlings, I absolutely love this little sprayer. Last year, or a couple years ago, one of our subscribers sent this to us. We loved it so much that we ordered a second one. And if you're interested in it, you can look at it in our gardening section of our Amazon shop. Let's see what else we have. Okay, these here I also just planted 2 days ago. These are all sugar snap peas that will be going in buckets in the greenhouse. In here in this flat, there are 72 little cells here. So we're hoping for good germination so we can have a lot of these sugar snap peas in the greenhouse. There are also several herbs that take a long time to get going, so I have started some of those as well. In here I have rosemary, parsley, some more flowers, Sweet William, which have just started to sprout, and also some spinach for the greenhouse. Oh, and some rosemary has sprouted too. Here's a rosemary, and then these are the Sweet Williams. And this is an entire flat of 72 pansy plants. Half of them are purple, half of them are yellow. Pansies take a long time as well, and they're a little bit different than some of the other things that I have started. They don't need to be on a heat mat at all. They actually prefer kind of a cooler environment to germinate, and they don't need a light at all. In fact, they prefer to germinate without much light at all.
All right, let me show you what we have going over here. Now these plants have been up for longer, so they're no longer on heat mats. We have just 3 things over here right now, but quite a few of them. First are our brassicas that will be going into our greenhouse. Let's bring these over. Here we have cabbage, cauliflower, kale, collard greens, and then on this end, just starting to come up, is cilantro. Cilantro takes a long time, but it does really well in the greenhouse during the cold part of the year. Now for these types of trays, once the plants are a little bit bigger, I really prefer to use this kind of water. I made this last winter. We have a few of these. It's an old recycled bottle with a little tube out of the front. And instead of just a light mist, which is great for the little bitty seeds, this actually puts more water on the plants and makes it really gentle because you can water right down at the soil. Alright, that's ready to go back on the shelf. Now you may be wondering how we remember what's in each tray of plants. It's not very high tech. We just put a piece of masking tape along the side of the tray and label what's in each row. That's all it takes. Now the next thing on this shelf is our onions. This is the first year that we are starting our onions from seed instead of planting them from the little bulbs that you can get. So we're excited that these are all coming up really well. Onions take a very long time to grow, so we have to start these really early in the season. Now the variety of onions that we're doing this year are called candy onions. It's actually a variety that one of our neighbors grows quite a bit, and they always do really great for them, so we thought we'd give them a try this year. We've also had a lot of you asking about how we started the onions in one of these flats. Again, nothing real high tech or anything. Basically what we did is just fill the tray up with the seed starting mix, sprinkle the entire packet of onion seeds across the top, and then sprinkle just maybe 1/8 of an inch more soil over the top of the seeds, and then put them on a heat mat with a humidity dome over the top, and keep that on there until they all sprout. Real easy way to do it. Alright, let's put these back on the shelf. And then the final thing that we have over here is something that I'm just kind of doing for fun, and that is some microgreens. Now this mix of microgreens is called Zesty Mix. It's a radish, broccoli, fenugreek, and alfalfa mix. And they're doing really well. We like to use a little of these on our salads when we have salads. We still have a lot of lettuce growing in the greenhouse. And the microgreens make a nice addition to the salad. Alright, let's put these back. Now there are just a couple other things that I want to show you guys with these grow lights. so you can see exactly how we're using them. So far I'm very happy with the way they're working. This is the first year that we're using the LED grow lights. In the past, we've just used regular fluorescent shop lights. So I'm excited to have these. They're really doing a good job, but I want to show you a couple other things that I did to kind of help them out. Let's go back over to the shelf here. Turn these back off for a second so you guys can see a little better. The first thing is we have these on a timer now. Both shelves are on a timer, so our grow lights are on for 12 hours during the day and off overnight. We also, like Sarah said, have a fan on most of the time now, unless we're in here working, then we take the fan away. But while we're not in here, there's always a fan blowing on our plants. And then the other thing is, I showed you in our last video how we use pieces of chain that we hang off the top of the shelf, and that's how we move our grow lights up and down. That system has worked well for us for the last 10 years. But just yesterday in the mail, I received these little ratchet things. I'm not really sure if one of our subscribers sent them to us or if the company who makes these sent them, but they're actually pretty cool, so I thought I'd give them a try. You can see that it's just a little rope ratchet here with a carabiner on the end, and when you want to raise the grow lights, you can just pull on the string and it raises them up, and then there's just a little lever here to let them back down. So I think it's pretty neat. We're testing them out. They sent us enough for 4 of our lights, so I'm going to test those out. If I end up liking them as much as I think, because the nice thing is you can adjust them a little easier and faster, I'll probably end up buying enough for all the lights. Here's the package from it. They're called Sky Life. Again, these were just sent to us. I don't know how they were sent to us or why, but they seem pretty cool, so I'm happy to try them out. If you guys are interested in those, I'll put a link to them in our Amazon shop so you can check them out. Now, one other thing that we've gotten a lot of questions about with the sprout house is whether or not we're going to paint the walls, you know, what we're going to do about the floor, because right now it's all just plywood. The answer to both of those is yes. We do plan on actually putting in vinyl flooring at some point and painting the walls. We didn't have time to do that this year. This was kind of a last minute idea to convert this building into the sprout house. So we didn't have the time because we really need to get starting our seeds, and we didn't want to have to, wait until after we could do all of that to start. So for this year, we're just leaving it the way it is. We're making sure the humidity stays under control. But after this seed starting season and after the farmer's market, we'll be painting in here and putting in flooring.
Speaking of farmer's market, we are going to start some of our seeds today for the plants that we're going to start selling in the farmer's market. So I do want to show you, I need to grab my binder, show you a little bit of how we stay organized, and then show you some of the systems that really work for us. I keep all of the important things for growing in my binder in just, plastic sleeves. I have a couple cheat sheets here that I'm going to talk with you about, but I also have seed starting schedules for us so we know when we need to start what and how much we're going to be starting for the farmer's market, what we're going to be starting for the farmer's market, just so I have everything in one place. Now, one of the things that we get asked so often year after year is, when do you start your seeds? How deep do you start them? Do they all need heat? Do they all need light? And over the course of many years, I've actually been consolidating all of that information for us into just a couple cheat sheets. I use one cheat sheet for vegetables, one for flowers, and one for herbs. And just today, we put those cheat sheets together in one PDF document that you guys can have access to through our Etsy shop. For $2, you get all the years of work and compiling that I've been doing into our cheat sheets. So if you're interested in that, we'll leave a link to that in our description section of this video. Now, one thing that I can't do is I can't tell every single person on what specific date to start seeds because everybody lives in different climates. We have people who watch us from all over the world. What I can tell you and what is in the cheat sheets is how many weeks before you want to plant those, when you should start those seeds. You can look online to find your last frost date. That's the date you start from, and then you count back the weeks from there. That information is included on the cheat sheets. Okay, so let's get started planting the seeds that we need for the farmer's market this year.
We're really excited to be selling at the farmers market again this year. We took last year off because the main thing that we sell at our local farmers market are plant starts in the spring. When the whole COVID thing started last spring, originally our farmers market decided to cancel indefinitely. They did end up starting up again a little later in the season, but by that point it was too late for us to start all of our plants and have them ready for the market. So we ended up just taking last season off from the farmers market. So this year, once again, we'll be back every Saturday morning during the springtime at the Ava, Missouri farmers market, selling plant starts to our local community and any of you that want to come join us there and buy some plant starts. Now, just to be clear, what we're starting today isn't all of our seeds for the farmers market. Most of the seeds we won't start for about another month or so. Things like our tomatoes and peppers and all of the summer type warm weather plants. What we're starting today are the cool weather plants. Our farmers market starts in April, which really is too early around here to be putting most of your plants in the ground, especially the summer plants. So we don't even take the warm weather plants with us the first month of the farmers market. During the month of April, we just sell brassicas and other cool weather plants. Those are what we're going to be starting today.
On this flat here, I'm actually going to be starting half lettuce and half cabbage. The lettuce that we're going to be bringing to the farmers market in these 4-packs is the Rocky Top mix from Baker Creek. It's our absolute favorite mix of lettuces. So sweet, so juicy, and wonderful. So now that it's time to plant these seeds, I can just go to my cheat sheet, look up how far down into the soil they need to be planted and all the extra requirements for each type of plant. Now, the lettuce seeds need to be sown on the surface. So basically, you just sprinkle them onto the surface, pat them down with your finger a little bit, and that's all you need to do. I'm just sprinkling maybe 4 or 5 seeds. If they all germinate, it'll be okay. The nice thing about this mix is that just a variation of lettuce plants will germinate. It'll make a beautiful little garden of different lettuce varieties. With lettuce and other seeds that you just sow right on the surface, I just like to press them down on the soil to make sure that they are making contact with the soil, because that's where they're going to get a lot of their water. They're going to absorb it from that wet soil. So that's all I'm doing, is pressing them down, just flattening them on top of that soil. Next, we're going to be planting the other half of the flat with cabbage. Just like the lettuce, we're going to be planting the cabbage in 4-packs, just like this, so customers can buy 4 plants right away. Now the cabbage, if I look at the cheat sheet, needs to be sown 1/4 inch down into the soil. So sometimes I just take whatever I have to make that hole. Right now I'm just going to use the tip of a pen to make a hole. Then I'll just drop 1 or 2 seeds down into each hole, cover them up, water them, put a humidity dome on top, label it, then it is ready to go over onto the heat mat and under the lights. The variety of cabbage that we're planting is called Golden Acres. And I really love that cabbage. Not only does it taste really good and nice and succulent, but it is also a fast producer. These are about 62 to 65 days, and that's actually really good for cabbage. A lot of cabbages take up to 90 days, maybe a little bit longer. So I like that these are fast growing. Now these guys need some water. Now that I'll remember what's in there, I'm gonna put on top of here a humidity dome. It's really just a clear plastic cover that holds in all that humidity. Really increases the chances that your seeds are going to retain the moisture they need to swell up and then germinate. After they're all germinated, then we'll take this off because they don't need that on there for very long. And now they just go onto the heat mat and under the lights.
Well, we still have several more flats of plants to get started today, but we thank you guys for coming to join us, spending some time in the Sprout House. We're so happy that you guys came up with that awesome name for us. We feel like this is really going to be an awesome space for us to be able to prepare for the farmers market and for our own gardens a lot more effectively this year.
You guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below so that you're notified of all of our new videos when they come out. And also, the best way that you can help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on all your social media. We would really appreciate it. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.